Alrighty, we are back, and today we are going to be talking about whether or not the DAIMA campaign is going to be featuring a Part 2 LR. Now, just want to get this right off the bat. This video is going to be purely speculative, and I'm going to be based off of future and past, not future evidence, but technically future evidence, but past evidence here for how this November campaign / end of October campaign has went in the previous year, and then sort of go from there. And then after we've talked about the discussion of whether or not we will see a Part 2 LR, I want to talk about if we were to see one, whether or not, who it would be. So we'll be talking about potential characters for the LR and stuff like that, and then sort of go over like what is left in this campaign and things like that. And yeah, so if that sounds interesting to you, let me know in the comment section below who you think a potential Part 2 LR would be. I'd love to hear your feedback down below, and then also drop a like if you do enjoy this video and subscribe if you are new, so that way you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with this video here today. And what we are going to be getting started with is looking at the campaign details to see if we can find anything that would indicate whether or not there would be a Part 2 LR. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Dokkan Festival and the event details around Super Saiyan 4 DAIMA Goku. And as you guys can see here, this is going to be from the end of October until the end of November, essentially going from the 29th of October until the 28th of November here. So a good 30 days or so of the banner being live. So literally right after Thanksgiving on Black Friday. And we'll talk a little bit more about Black Friday in a bit here during this video. But for now, all we need to know is this stuff right here. Then with the festival ticket summon, going to be the same thing. It's going to run past when the banner goes away, but that doesn't really matter. And then the same thing here with special summon tickets, whatever, right? And then we have packs, the Dokkan event, all that fun stuff. But what I think is interesting here, and what I'm actually concerned with in terms of this celebration and a Part 2 LR, is if we go down here. And this is always a good indicator to sort of see what's going on with a campaign. And that is going to be the highlighted text. And that's going to be Wednesday, October 29th from 8 p.m. The time doesn't really matter, but the day does. So from the 29th to the 12th, the initial super sales for DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 Goku are going to be, taken away, and then replaced with maybe other super discounts or stuff like that. And that is how it's going to look until, we get around to the 28th, where there's going to be potentially a Black Friday banner. Again, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But with there being the 12th here, this would indicate that 2 weeks after the Super Saiyan 4 Goku banner, there could potentially be another summonable LR banner here in this potential spot for a legendary summon, a carnival, something like that. Again, no guarantees, but this is just a thought because we'll get into it a little bit. But the way that this campaign is usually formatted around this time of year, we get a Dokkan Festival, and then we transition into a crossover Dokkan, not a Dokkan Fest, but a crossover celebration. And we'll be talking about that here in a little bit. So with the sales going away on the 12th, to me, that indicates that something could be coming on the 14th, the 15th, something like that for a summonable character in order for them to refresh the super discounts on the Dragon Stones, because the odds of them going from the 12th all the way to the 28th, where there's Black Friday, with no sales in between, doesn't exactly sound right. So keep that in mind. So that is what we have right now in terms of like banners and summonable things going on, as well as the Elder Kai banner, which is going to be resetting, on the 12th, basically at the same time. So this is going to reset at 9 o'clock in the morning, or 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, which we are back on, by the way. So it is no longer going to be daylight time because daylight savings has happened. So we are here on EST, and that is going to be the same thing over here. So on the 12th at the 59, so basically the 13th, this is where this is going to be going away. So now that we have all these ground rules established, right? That there is likely to be some refreshes and stuff on the 12th. If we look here, we can look at the dates that are kind of revolving around November 12th. And funny enough, last year, we had an Elder Kai banner reset, wouldn't you guess it, on the 12th. But the difference this year is going to be this thing in the middle. So potentially what we could see is this banner was up for 3 weeks last year, and then Super Saiyan 4 Goku's banner is going to be up for 4 weeks this year. So potentially what we could see in between is, like I said, a banner in between, and this could be a summonable LR in this spot that may refresh on the 12th, like on the 14th or the 15th, and that is the spot for a Part 2 LR. And then if we go over here to the Japanese version, I just wanted to pull this up for the same thing. You guys can see this is essentially the same thing. Slug releases over here on the 31st, and then we go over to the 9th page here, and you guys can see the Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and then resets over here on November 12th with the Elder Kai banner. So this is what we have to go off of for this specific case, where we have banners that are resetting and all of that fun stuff on here, and that will be essentially what we are looking for. With all that being said, here is my verdict on whether or not we will be receiving a Part 2 LR, and to me, I'm thinking that it is more likely that we do see something in between this Dokkan Fest here and then Black Friday, because again, the odds of them just going 4 weeks with DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 Goku being the highlight character just doesn't sound very much like Dokkan. So I think that on the 12th, we could expect something, whether that be a crossover character, whether that be a Part 2 LR. I'm expecting there to be something in that spot. So with that being said, we now can potentially speculate on who this LR could be. Now, with it being DAIMA, there are a very, it's a very condensed lineup, if you will, right? I don't know how we could pull this up, maybe in the wiki here, but what we know with DAIMA is there are two main categories to focus on. The first being Demonic Power, and the second being Dragon Ball Seekers. So we'll start with Dragon Ball Seekers. I think that would just be a little bit easier for us just because of the way that DAIMA is formatted, and we will evaluate the characters that we have from DAIMA. So our first instance, aside from the free-to-play base Goku and Vegeta Mini that we already have, we have Super Saiyan Goku Mini taken care of, Glorio taken care of twice at this point, right? Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4 Goku Mini, Piccolo, and Pansy, right? I don't think I'm missing anybody there from DAIMA. So really anybody at that point is available for the taking, right? A potential, there's just a few options that jump off the top of my head would be something like a tag Majin Ku and Majin Du. I think that could be a very interesting option for like DAIMA characters, right? With DAIMA being with all that fun stuff, I think that is definitely a potential option for us to be rocking with. So I wouldn't be shocked if we saw that, but again, it is not a guarantee. And then maybe somebody else that would be related would be Goma. Now, with Goma in specific, that would probably be my, not like my number one like hype choice, but there is a Goma in here, and I don't know how we could pull that up, right? The Goma boss actually has a fun little super attack. Let me see if I can pull that up. Okay, so I did find one thing here, and this is going to be Goma doing like a blast here. So I wouldn't expect this to be part of the super attack animations because this is just way too basic. There's actually a much better one that we would have here, but you guys can see we found that one in the subreddit. So that could potentially be something, but again, I'm not expecting that to be the animation. That wasn't the one that I was looking for, but again, we do have something. Okay, so I found what I was looking for. Again, is there any way to loop this here? No, so we'll just let this autoplay, but this is the super attack animation that I'm talking about, where it actually looks pretty high quality, and I would imagine that this would be part of a Goma in the future, because there's really no reason for them to just, you know, not hold on to this. Or to just use this on one specific thing, because again, the quality here is very good. You know, with this shot right here, that's a pretty good one. Like this kind of atmosphere does sort of scream like giant form for an LR or something like that. I don't hate the look by any means, and I would not be surprised if this is something that we saw for a super attack animation on a Goma. So this is something definitely to keep in mind for a Part 2 LR, that a Goma could definitely be in this spot. Again, it's got everything that you're looking for in terms of a summonable LR Part 2, right? Like this shot right here, also pretty good, all things considered. But this is a super attack from a story event. So again, with Goma, things are a little bit tricky for this to be a Part 2 LR, but you never know. Now, when it comes to something else that we could see, there could be a Tamagami or two that we could see in terms of the animation. So maybe it's a trio of the Tamagamis, right? There's individual Tamagamis. Maybe there's two of them. This could potentially be an option for us as well, considering we have the Tamagamis in the game at this point. We know how they operate. We've got cool looking super attacks for them, or at least one, and then we have updated ones dropping very soon. So do keep that in mind for this fight. I don't believe, do we have a hard confirmation on when those dates are going to be for the stages? Just no. So right now, like, so through the next 4 weeks, essentially, we are going to be seeing stuff for Goma in the celebration. So at least keep that in mind. Not Goma, the Tamagamis, excuse me. This is going to be something that we see as well. And I think this is going to be one of the odds on, maybe not the favorite, but definitely we are going to be seeing these characters as summonable or free to play at some point, because at least in my experience when I was watching DAIMA and interacting with the community at the time, because you guys know I've been a Dragon Ball creator, if you will, through all of DAIMA from the start to finish, and a lot of YouTubers you watch do. I'm not bragging or anything, but like, the community reaction and reception to characters from DAIMA, one of the highest ones was definitely the Tamagamis, right? A lot of people were infatuated with how Tamagami 3 was sort of like this chill guy who was obviously fighting Goku, but at the same time he was just kind of like, yo, like, I'm just gatekeeping this Dragon Ball. It's what I'm supposed to do, right? Like that was his job. And then he's trying to do the Kamehameha. Like he was cool, right? A lot of people like Tamagami 3, really fun character, got a banner unit or a 1% sparking in Legends for Legends Fest during part 2 during that. So with Tamagami number 3, this does sort of lead for a potential, I don't know if they deserve the LR designation, but the thing with LRs and Dokkan Fest in this game is there is not really a limit. And I hate to use Videl as an example, but you like short hair girls Videl being a Dokkan Fest as an example just says that, like, any moment from the series can be deemed a Dokkan Fest or a part 2 summonable LR. And like at the end of the day, like if Tamagami 3 or all 3 of the Tamagamis get like an exchange LR, like I'd be okay with that. Would it be the most hype thing? Absolutely not. But I definitely don't want to sit here and act like it isn't an option. So just keep that in mind. But if we go back here with Dragon Ball Seekers, the last character that I want to talk about for a potential Part 2 LR is going to be this Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and then the adult version of Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta from DAIMA. Now, you guys know at this point we only have the mini version. He would be a very good link here for this character, and then he would also work well for a future Super Saiyan 4 adult Goku, which is definitely going to happen. And I believe now, with the mini version being the TUR format, that this opens up the door completely for the adult form to be the LR version, and that is very, very exciting. So that would probably be how I would break this down so far. Again, we have a summonable LR coming allegedly, and then that would probably be around the 12th based on the sales as well as the Elder Kai banner. Again, I'm not making any guarantees in this video. This is not to come on here and be like, there's a Part 2 LR on the way. It's hard confirmed. We already know this. I just believe that there is a good chance of it due to the way that the schedule is working out and all of that fun stuff. So I'm very interested to see. So let me know down below what you guys think. Are you expecting a Part 2 LR? Who would it be? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like before you go, as it greatly helps the channel out, especially during periods like this. The game is definitely not in full swing. The anniversary is not live and all that fun stuff, but your boy's trying to, do things with the Dokkan. So I appreciate you watching this video. Thank you for watching if you made it all the way through. I appreciate you again. Love you guys. If you want to become a YouTube member, click the button down in the description, or as well, you can join the community Discord with the link down there as well. So thank you for watching. See you all in the next one.